Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone had a fantastic 4th of July weekend if you celebrated that. We got a long weekend and we had a lot of movies come out and I caught a few of them, and instead of doing a video individually on each one, I thought I'd just make one video and just do some quick reviews on a few films that I caught over this holiday weekend. So let's go ahead and get started. We'll start with The Tomorrow War. This is streaming right now on Amazon Prime. It's directed by Chris M.A.C.E. It stars Chris Pratt, J.K. Simmons, and Yvonne Strahovski. I may be pronouncing that wrong, and I do apologize, but yeah, so The Tomorrow War. So this film is a sci-fi alien type film. Get a lot of nods from things like Independence Day, but at the core of this follows a family man, Chris Pratt, as he is drafted to fight a war in the future. If you've watched the trailer for this, you see that this actually starts in Christmas time, which I thought was really interesting, being that this releases on 4th of July. But people from the future come back as they need the help of the present, which at this time is actually in 2022, to fight a war that has not started. The war is with aliens, and they need all the help they can get. So really quick, this is actually not a terrible film. This is a decent film. If anything, I'm going to nitpick it a little bit. Really, for me, the things that got me was it is a fairly long film. This was almost 2.5 hours, I believe. So it felt a little long, and it does get a little tacky. If you're going to compare this to something like Independence Day, you're going to look for the chemistry between the characters. And that's where, like, one of the things that Independence Day really works, because you have Will Smith and Jeff Goldblum and how they connect and all the things that they go through. It feels like this was trying to do similar things, but it didn't do it as well. But in The Tomorrow War, I did enjoy some of the supporting cast. I think some of the supporting cast did lift this up. For me, it was the long run time, and it gets a little bit tacky in certain situations that I just kind of laughed, but it wasn't like an enjoyable laugh. It was like, did they really do that? Why did they want to do that? Which is concerning. Chris M.A.C.E. just did some research on what he's up to, which he did the Lego Batman movie, which is one I really enjoy, but he's announced to do Nightwing and Johnny Quest. So I have high hopes for those. I hope he doesn't go in this kind of tacky-ish humor that he did with this one. But to move on, Tomorrow War, not a bad film. If you've got some time, check it out. I think a lot of people will enjoy it. I mean, this is one I think most will enjoy. If you like Independence Day and those type of films, check it out. If you're into time travel, I would highly suggest watching Dark on Netflix. That is probably one of the best time travel, and this is actually a series, not a film, but if you're into time travel, check that out. But if you're into like aliens and Independence Day-esque film, I think you'll really enjoy this one. So for The Tomorrow War, I'm going to give this one a B-. All right, next up on my list is No Sudden Move. This film released on HBO Max this weekend. This one is an all-star cast. This is directed by Steven Soderbergh, and it stars Don Cheadle, Benicio del Toro, and David Harbour. There are a lot of big stars in this film. Some of them I didn't even know were in this film. I remember watching the trailer for this a while back, but I didn't want to go too deep in this just because I wanted to kind of stay spoiler-free as possible. So this follows a group of criminals that are brought together under mysterious circumstances and have to work together to uncover what's really going on with their simple job that goes completely sideways. So this kind of starts off as one of those simple stories. You see this various group of guys who all, they're essentially criminals. They all have their own individual stories, problems that they're dealing with, but they're essentially put on what's called a babysitting job, which, seems too good to be true. A few hours to babysit a family while someone needs to go get a certain object, and that's it. Or is it? This movie goes in a lot of various directions, and I haven't looked into this per se, but it seems that this film is based on, things that actually happen in the real world. Not this per se, but the thing that they're going after. You do get a little as the film ends, a little note to some things that were going on during when this movie was set. So this is one of those films like you do got to pay attention. You have to pay attention. Runtime is fine. It's another longer film, but I think it's paced fairly well. I think the acting is really sound. Like I said, there are some actors in this I did not know were in this. I'm glad they kept it secret because it just elevates the film when you get to these moments. But there are moments that could be confusing. You really have to pay attention to, like, what's going on, what are the motives, who's really after what. This, not so much of a cat and mouse type game, but this is like a chase the money. Like, everyone needs money for something. The goal is do a job, get money, use the money to pay off your problems. And this is kind of going into, mob, mafia-esque type storylines. So not a bad film as well. I enjoyed this film. This is a pretty good watch. I am going to give No Sudden Move an A-. If anything, I think it's maybe a little bit too long. The other thing, if I was going to really, really nitpick this, I don't know if it was their editing or their choice of lens. There was something artistic about it that didn't jive with me very well, of how they would pan the camera and do some of these angles. Really weird. It took me a while to get used to. So that, with a longer runtime, kind of brought the score down. But outside of that, really good movie. All right, so the next one is Fear Street Part 1, 1994. This is a 3-part movie that is on Netflix. Part 1 came out. Part 2 will come out this weekend. This one, not as great as the other two. This is based upon the Fear Street books by R.L. Stine. Yeah, I don't even know really get into this one. This one just not that good. So this follows a circle of teenage friends accidentally encountered the ancient evil responsible for a series of brutal murders that have plagued their town for over 300 years. So this goes into the town of Shadyside, where as you get into this, one of the teenagers is big into the whole conspiracy theories, what's really going on. You also got to look at, like, this is in the 94, so we're looking at old, like, AOL chats and messengers and forums. So he's got his online friends where they're deep diving into the history of this town and what may be going on. Is it cursed? Who cursed it? What's causing all these murders? And it just goes into there. I really don't know what to say about this one. It is not that good. Most of these actors I'm not very familiar with. One of the main girls, I'm not 100% sure which one. I think it was Olivia Scott Welch. I've seen in some other stuff. But yeah, this, I was excited for this. Watching the initial trailers for all 3 films, this looked like it'd be really fun, but this is just not that good. A lot of newer actors. You can tell at some moments they're trying too hard. Their kind of motives are just to be really silly. This is essentially a slasher film. I've seen part 1. I'll commit and watch the other 2 parts. I hope it gets better, but it's just, this definitely isn't going to be a movie for everyone. The acting wasn't the greatest. The storyline wasn't the greatest. There are so many moments that just felt unnecessary. The chemistry they try to put between these teenagers just gets really awkward at times. We'll see as we dive deeper into the actual, the lore of Shadyside and where this goes. Maybe it could get interesting. I think the next film, part 2, is going to be set in the past of the origin of it. So hopefully that one will do better. But for Fear Street Part 1, I'm going to give this film a C-. It's just forgettable. I mean, there were moments where I was just drifting off, like not really caring. I wasn't committed to these characters. The story, I guess, could be cool. I grew up with R.L. Stine. I'm not familiar with Fear Street. But the story itself could be cool. I just wish the characters did a bit of a better job. All right, so last on my list is Till Death. Rented this movie. It may be streaming. If it is, I'm not sure where. This does fall in line to more of a thriller-esque type film. So I'm not sure if Shudder has it. I haven't looked up. I did just rent this off of Apple. So Till Death stars Megan Fox and is directed by S.K. Dell, which I believe is his this is his directorial debut. So Till Death follows a woman is left handcuffed to her dead husband as part of a sick revenge plot. Unable to unshackle, she has to survive as two killers arrive to finish her off. This is one of those films that is kind of set in one location in one day, and I think it does a very good job. You do get some build up to these, this husband and wife, so you kind of see where each of their motives are, but this does go into a big moment pretty quickly. She's celebrating her anniversary. He surprises her by going out to a cabin and then falls asleep, and when she wakes up the next day, she is handcuffed and witness as he essentially kills himself, and now she is shackled to him, trying to figure out what is going on. You get some backstory on the two killers, which are essentially not so much killers as they are robbers, because they are motivated to get something that's in this cabin that she's at. So the goal is to try to escape from them and not give them what they're looking for. This is one of those films, like, being able to film this in one location in one day and keep it suspenseful is really impressive. It is something very challenging to do in the film world, but to be able to pull something like this off is impressive. And I love that this stars Megan Fox. Megan Fox is, I grew up with her through the Transformer films, through Jennifer's Body, This Is 40. So, I know, like, she hasn't had the greatest reputation, but it seems that she's starting to make a comeback into film. And I think she did a solid job in this. The other actors did a solid job as well. Tight cast. You're really only focused on 5 people, which is really, really great in this. Solid runtime, not too long, and this keeps you on the edge of your seat through the whole film. Really good. If it's streaming, check it out. Again, I'm not sure where it is, but if you're into renting movies online, rent this one. I think S.K. Dell did a great job. As someone aspiring to get deeper into film, like, this is definitely motivational. If you're an aspiring filmmaker, I think you would really enjoy this and what they did to break down a lot of, like, the dolly shots, the camera angles, utilizing just such a tight budget with limited cast in one location. Being able to keep it interesting is really, really good. All of those reasons, I'm going to give Till Death a B+. I think the story on this could have been, there could have been some things to elevate it up a little bit, but for what this is and what it does, I think it did a solid job. The story itself, not too crazy. It's something I feel like most people have seen before. It's just done in this way, but yeah, this is a really enjoyable film. One I may check back later on just for more of a film research study, but yeah. So 4 films that I checked out over the weekend. I know quite a few more came out, but a lot going on this week. I know upcoming we're going to have, like I said, Fear Street Part 2 will come out. Black Widow comes out this weekend. We've got Loki came out today. So lots going on. Did you watch any films over 4th of July? Let me know in the comments below. What did you check out? Did you enjoy it? Where is it streaming? Always looking for more films. Really excited to check out Black Widow later this week. We'll be talking about Loki later today on a podcast that I do called Agents of M.A.C.E, so please check that out. Generally, it's linked in the comments below, so check that out as we've been talking about Loki. Thanks so much for watching. Please consider subscribing, liking. That's going to help this channel out. As I've mentioned before in past videos, I do still intend to start my Arkansas series, the first one going over Jeff Nichols movies. I've just had a lot going on. First up will be Shotgun Stories, which is one I actually have not seen, so I got to dedicate some time to rent that and check it out. So still planning to do a lot with this channel. Wanted to get this out here today, so thank you so much again for watching. I look forward to chatting with you in the comments below. Have a great week.